Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chesterton's Jest, where we keep a critical eye on faith and culture, especially within the Catholic Church today. In an age where even church teachings seem to be shifting, we're here to explore and question the ideas and changes that challenge timeless truths. Through thought-provoking, often humorous perspectives, we aim to bring clarity to conversations others might avoid, holding fast to orthodoxy with the courage to question what feels off track. If you would like to join us as we dig deeper into the faith with reverence, wit, and a touch of Chestertonian insight, you can support this channel by gently pressing the like, share, and subscribe buttons in that order, and we thank you for your support. And now, without further ado, the paradox of Lent: fasting, feasting, and spiritual renewal. Chapter 1. The Feast and the Fast, a Sacred Balance. The season of Lent presents a paradox that has confounded critics and inspired the faithful for centuries. It is a time of both solemn reflection and joyous anticipation, of abstinence that leads to abundance. Many see contradiction in a faith that celebrates feasting yet venerates fasting, that rejoices in merriment yet honors ascetics who deny themselves earthly pleasures. Yet what appears as contradiction is actually balance, a rhythm of self-denial leading to joy. Fasting prepares for feasting. The absence of pleasure makes its return all the more glorious. Lent is not a season of mere deprivation, but of anticipation. The dark road of penance leads to the sunrise of Easter. Suffering is never an end in itself, but a preparation for joy. Chapter 2. The Joy of Penance: Why Saints Love Fasting. True asceticism is not a rejection of the world, but a passionate love for God that drives one to set aside distractions. The saints did not suffer because they despised the world, but because they loved God so much that they cast aside all that stood between them and Him. One can see in their lives an almost reckless embrace of fasting, vigils, and self-denial, not as grim duties, but as acts of great passion. This image turns our modern view of fasting upside down. Instead of seeing it as a negative act of self-punishment, it becomes an active joy, a desire to make space for divine things. Christ's teaching in Matthew 6:16-17 reminds us, "When you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do, but anoint your head and wash your face." Lent is not a season of gloom, but of expectant preparation. Fasting is not about sadness, but about making room for a greater joy. Chapter 3. The Paradox of Gratitude: Why we abstain to appreciate more. True gratitude requires discipline. One cannot truly appreciate abundance without first experiencing restraint. By giving things up, we appreciate them more. This principle applies far beyond food and drink. In a world saturated with distractions and indulgence, Lent invites us to pause, to withhold, to wait. By stepping away from worldly comforts, we do not despise them, but honor them. True appreciation comes from knowing when to say no, so that when we say yes, we mean it with our whole hearts. Chapter 4. Self-government and the Test of Fasting. Modern society exalts freedom, yet often lacks true self-control. True freedom is not found in doing whatever we please, but in having the discipline to restrain ourselves for a higher purpose. This is precisely the meaning of Lent, a time of fasting and almsgiving that teaches us the discipline to govern our desires rather than be ruled by them. This applies perfectly to the digital age, where instant gratification and constant consumption dominate our lives. A meaningful Lenten fast in the 21st century might involve not just abstaining from food, but from social media, noise, and distraction, reclaiming control over our own attention and time. Chapter 5. Lent as a response to modern excess. In an age of excess, the wisdom of fasting is more relevant than ever. Modern culture rejects religious fasting, yet creates secular substitutes, fad diets, detox programs, minimalist trends. The world, having abandoned Lent, reinvents it in lesser forms. The truth is that the human soul craves limits. A world without Lent becomes a world of endless consumption, one where people become sickened by abundance, yet cannot stop indulging. In this sense, Lent is not an outdated relic of the past, but an antidote to modern anxiety. Fasting in Lent offers something far richer than any wellness trend. It gives meaning to sacrifice because it is done for love of God. It is not merely about losing weight or clearing one's mind, but about emptying oneself to be filled with something greater. Chapter 6. Digital fasting, a necessary practice for today. Modern distractions fill our lives with constant noise, leaving little room for deep thought. The endless flood of information, entertainment, and social media creates a restless dissatisfaction. A truly meaningful Lenten practice today might be a digital fast, a conscious stepping away from the overwhelming influx of stimuli. Instead of filling every moment with distractions, Lent invites us to rediscover silence, contemplation, and prayer. Self-denial is not loss, but gain. In a time when our minds are constantly bombarded, perhaps the most meaningful sacrifice we can make is to simply be still and rediscover the lost art of thinking. Chapter 7. The purpose of penance, giving up to gain everything. Christianity's greatest paradox is that we lose our lives to save them. Lent, with its emphasis on penance and sacrifice, embodies this mystery. When we fast, give alms and pray, we are not making ourselves miserable. We are participating in the life of Christ, who humbled himself so that we might share in his resurrection. True sacrifice is not merely about discipline, but about overflowing gratitude to God. The world may scoff at such a notion, calling it foolish or unnecessary. But great sacrifices are often misunderstood by those who lack the magnanimity to make them. The Lenten fast is not a meaningless restriction, but an invitation into something deeper, an act of love that in the end leads to Easter joy. Conclusion: Lent is the path to Easter. Lent is not a gloomy season of deprivation, but a joyful preparation for the greatest feast of all. Through fasting, self-denial, and penance, we do not lose anything of true value. Rather, we gain everything. This season presents a paradox, a time of darkness that leads to light, of sacrifice that leads to abundance, of fasting that leads to feasting. To embrace Lent is not to reject joy, but to prepare our hearts for the fullest joy of all, the joy of Easter morning. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed today's video and share our passion for defending the true faith with a touch of humor, be sure to head over to chestertonsjest.com and check out our collection of bold, pro-Catholic graphic tees designed to spark conversation and inspire conviction. Whether you're looking to wear your faith proudly or share a laugh, we've got something for everyone. Visit us today and join the movement, because in times like these, it's more important than ever to stand firm in our beliefs with style and wit. As Chesterton once said, "A madman is not someone who has lost his reason. A madman is someone who has lost everything except his reason." So, let's keep our reason and our faith intact together. Thanks for listening. God bless you, and may the good Lord be praised.